Testing. Yes, people, welcome back to the last episode of AFC Wimbledon WTV. By myself, Robert Boyce. I'm joined to the left by George Jones and to my right, Matt Harwood. Soon to be joined by Stuart Deakins as well. Guys listening at home, make sure you get your comments in, your questions, your thoughts, but all we ask is to keep it respectful, obviously no swearing, and any comments which are of a ranty nature or unproductive, obviously, we won't obviously post on the screen. And we'll get through as many comments as we can. So Paul Campbell is saying, is the stream working? Hopefully it's working. Let us know if we're all clear and the sound's all clear from your side. Matt, I'm going to start with you. A 1-1 draw today. What are your thoughts on that? Is that a fair result, or do you think Tranmere edged it today?
Probably a fair result, and I'm just, to be honest, after last week, I'm just happy not to lose.
Yeah.
So taking the point is a definite, and the last game at Plough Lane, at least we came away with something. Yep.
To come away from Plough Lane without losing is a positive. George, what did you think of today's performance? Do you think 1-1 was a fair result, or how did you view the game?
I thought we were lucky to get a point. I think the first half was, both teams were poor. I think a draw at half-time was the right result. Tranmere had some good opportunities in the second half, so did we. Both teams, deserved goals. Tranmere had slightly better opportunities, particularly the one where they squared it in an offside position. I thought a point we were perhaps lucky to get today. Performance-wise, I don't think we were massively better than we have been the last couple of weeks. But then it was good to see Josh Davison come back. Concerned that he's picked up another injury. Ali Al-Hamadi's picked up an injury. Hussein Baila's picked up another injury. Pros and cons today, but I think a point may be fair, but certainly if either team deserved to win, it would have been Tranmere.
You could argue, though, George, that we probably would have went out 1-0 winners if Hussein Baila doesn't get injured on the byline of his hamstring. He probably could have stopped that and tracked back his man. Yeah. I don't feel like Tranmere tested our keeper a lot. I do remember one save in the second half, Boom making a superb save. But I've got to say, I do think the performance was a bit better than last week where we lost 5-1.
Yeah, Brumi made a really good overhand save in the second half to keep us in it. I agree. I don't think we conceded that goal if Huss hamstring didn't go on him, because I think he would have made the recovery, but I still think we would have conceded. But either way, I think Tranmere had better opportunities. Some of their passing patterns were really quite nice. Some of their build-up play went quite well. We struggled to deal with it, and they did seem to get overloads in attacking third. But yeah, like I said, I think a draw was maybe fair, but if either team deserved to win, it probably would have been Tranmere.
We are now joined by Stuart Deakins. Stu, how did you view today's game? Do you think 1-0 was a fair result? George is over here saying he thinks Tranmere were a better team.
I heard George.
Yeah.
No, it's flat. It's flat. I thought they dropped in deep. They didn't press as high, forced us to go long. So that meant Ali and Josh were playing fight ball most of the time, wasn't it? I felt you could argue that our goal come against a run of play, arguably, but double figures for Ali. Yep. So does that mean he's got to sing downstairs or something? Because wasn't there some sort of thing?
I think it might do. I think he might, especially as he's man of the match. I think it might be a little sing-song. Yeah. It was nice to see two up front, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they didn't work, did they? No. That was the problem, because we couldn't get balls into there. When you're playing long balls, that's your problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's just because we haven't got confidence to pass through the thirds. No. But the goal was really good. But I agree, Tranmere looked better. I wouldn't say they were anything breathtaking. No. To see, I've not done much. But the game just petted out, didn't it, really?
Yeah. It seemed like a game which was a bit of a dead rubber, or a bit on the beach, which is ironic, because in the first half, I think the only highlight was that Tranmere got their beach ball confiscated. There wasn't really much going on in the first half.
That was a little bit, I don't understand. I couldn't see what was happening, but it just felt like we were kicking someone out because they dared to get their beach ball back. If that's our problems in the way in, then do you know what I mean?
That's for the stewards to sort out.
yeah, I think they were bored.
Yeah, a little bit. The first half was, first half was not the greatest
No, not the best.
vision of football you've ever seen.
Yeah, and I think you could see that by the number of people who stayed out for the second half. Because the ground was certainly a lot emptier in the second half than it was in the first half,
Well,
especially that first 20 minutes of the
Because you
second
have to
half.
wait for the beer to be pulled, George. You can't just go and pick one up. You have to wait for it to be poured, and then you come back afterwards.
I couldn't comment on that, but I do think it shows about the quality of football. Because you think back to the start of the season when results were going our way and the football was a bit better, this ground was a lot fuller towards the start of the second half. It wasn't full, but it was fuller than it was today.
It was fuller today than it's been for a while.
George?
It was better today than it was against Salford. Was it Salford? No, last time at Swindon.
George, I have to say the attendance today was announced at 8,600. Obviously, we're fully aware. In fact, we include season ticket sales. If they're empty seats, but I have to say I'm impressed with the attendance, considering fact there's nothing to play for last game of the season.
Yeah, 8,100 was the attendance today. It was good, decent number. And the thing that I always judge the attendance by isn't the season ticket areas, because they're always going to have loads of empty seats in. It was the area for the pay on the day. So that was in that northeast corner, and that looked pretty much full. So it shows that we're still getting new fans coming in, fans who were not season ticket holders, not regular customers, coming in, buying tickets. And, hopefully they enjoyed it, and hopefully they'll be back next year. But there's a lot of empty seats again today, so it'll be interesting to see how that
I'll
goes.
be pedantic about attendance. It was 8,106.
Yeah, that 6 people is, I should say. Thank you to those extra 6 people.
Stu, how do you view the attendances? Like, I'm
I
me and
thought it
you.
was nice they turned up.
Love that. Enough said.
I just look. Do you know what? I think we obviously showing how attractive the club is and Plough Lane is. That we're still attracting these numbers with the season we've had. So I think the club are very lucky. We've got fans that are coming out in. Let's be fair, we've not played well this season, and we can get into the detail of who's coming and who's not. The fact is, we're quite lucky we're not playing tonight 4,000 or 5,000 fans.
Yeah.
Do you know what? To be fair, today was just a dead rubber, wasn't it? It was no real atmosphere, was there?
No.
I think the biggest cheer was Al Hamadi getting his 10th goal of the season, and he fittingly got Player of the Year as well, which I don't think was a major surprise on that, was it really?
Not really.
Just out of interest, is that who did everyone here on the panel vote for their Player of the Year? Is that who you went for?
I did.
Ali Al-Hamadi.
Ali.
No, I've had Jack Curry.
Jack Curry, yeah. It's impressive with Ali Al-Hamadi because he's obviously got double figures now, 10 goals in 18 appearances. If you compare it to Aya Basal got 17 goals in 78 appearances. So, we talked about Asal leaving in January and what an impact that has, but we've definitely replaced his goals up front.
Replaced his goals, haven't replaced his movement and taking 2 defenders away each time. And there's your difference. And I think they're different players on it. Ali, Ali's a straight through the middle forward, where Aya would take 2 or 3 defenders. And then pick up a yellow card here and there. So it's probably, but they're different players. But do you know what? I think he deserves. I get where you're going with Jack Curry. I think Jack Curry dropped off after January.
Yeah.
And I don't think he'd done enough in the bank to do. Ali's had an amazing period, isn't it? And he's one of the many bright sparks that's come out of this season.
I mean,
George is looking confused there. He doesn't. He's thinking how many are there?
I'll just say on the reason my thinking behind Jack rather than Ali on Player of the Year was Jack won us a lot of games in that first half of the year or contributed to a lot of important wins, while Ali scored a lot of goals. We just haven't done well enough as a team. He hasn't won us enough points, and that's nothing down to him. That's just down to the team.
Year, not team of the year. So.
But Jack did more in games where his contribution was vital.
Hey, look, I think it's good we're having a discussion about who we think should have got man of the match, or player of the match, player of the year, what it's called. Because otherwise, if there wasn't more than one nomination, then we'd be in trouble. Send your comments in. We're just looking.
Darren Gossage goes away happy today. Well, that's if he was at the game. He might be aboard just watching our iFollow, but he said some positive feedback. We didn't lose and didn't concede in injury time. Something to be happy about. I do think, Matt, that is one positive coming away from the end of the season at Plough Lane. But we haven't ended it on a loss. Do you feel that it's important going into next season?
I think it's hugely important just off on the last time game of the season without that loss sort of ringing in the mind. It's now time for refresh, reset, and then of course a lot of change is going to occur, and then we should get this season out of our system, and then hopefully next season do better.
It's a shame, in my opinion, that this isn't the last game of the season. Obviously, we've still got to play Grimsby, and I do have to say, I think anyone going to Grimsby is crazy. I'm looking at you, George.
Yeah, I can't argue that. I really can't argue that.
I've never been to Grimsby myself, so I can't comment if it's nice or if it's grim.
I've been.
So, yeah. We'll see. So,
Punlicious.
so I hope obviously we do. I hope obviously we end it on a positive note up in Grimsby. We are going to look at some scores from around the clock today, around the
grounds.
Around the grounds, yeah, something like that. Stu, going to start off with you. I feel like there's one standout result today, which we mentioned whilst we were sitting together. Salford picking up another late winner. It's no fluke for they keep doing that.
Yeah, 2 up. Carlisle equalised. Got a player sent off. Salford scored, I think, 86 minutes. It's why if I was going to be a betting man, which I'm not, I would be betting Salford to get through the playoffs, just because they're just dogged.
Momentum.
Dogged. I think they're a very good footballing side, but they play right to the final whistle.
Yep.
And that's not a bad scout. Obviously, Carlisle are going to be in the playoffs as well, so it's one of those sort of mental numbers on them and that sort of side of it. So yeah, interesting what pressure does, doesn't it? Rochdale running out 4-1 winners. Yeah, happens a lot with teams that get relegated.
Pressure's off. Stevenage are now a Stevenage up on the big B, who of course we've got next 2-0. So for their last home, I wouldn't want to go up there and watch that game, eh, George?
What was that, sorry? Sorry, I was checking the league table.
Doesn't need it.
It's amazing when you listen to people on the panel, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, going up to Grimsby, it is going to be.
And then when you try and blag it, and you're nowhere near the conversation.
No. What was the question? Sorry, Matt.
It was about the pedestrianisation of Norwich City Centre.
Sorry, I was just checking the league table just to see.
Oh dear, I love it.
Just to see whether what's it called?
Well,
Whether Stockport had caught up.
Crawley didn't win today, so they've not overtaken us. George, any standout results for you today? Just putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was the Stockport win. That was what I was checking to see, because that's put them right back in it over with Northampton losing. So I mean, Stockport are now only sort of within touching distance going into that final game. And
Northampton are going down to the final game, don't they?
Yeah, and that's
Poor.
for them. That's going to be really nervy because of what happened last year when they lost after the final whistle, literally.
I'm not a sick person, so I would really it'd be horrible if they didn't get promotion.
Yeah.
On the final day, but it's some memories, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. They'll be haunted by what happened last year. Stockport going into it in great form.
Where they finish, George? If you can check on your phone, please, whilst you're ignoring us.
But it just for me. That's the sort of standout one, because it means Stockport going into that final game. They've got form behind them. Northampton slipping a bit, so it's going to be interesting. There's a lot to play for on that final day, even if the bottom 15 now are done.
Shout out as well to Quasm Smith. I presume he's an Ali Al-Wadi fan. Obviously, none of us can read Arabic, but I just wanted to say hello to Quasam, who's obviously tuning in. Obviously, we touched upon Ali Al-Hamadi won the Player of the Year and Man of the Match today. One of the players you mentioned was Jack Curry. He swooped 2 awards, George Young Player of the Year and also W Don's Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Was you expecting that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Young Player for Jack was pretty much a lock on. Because Hussein Barlow is probably the other candidate for that, and he hasn't quite had enough football this year compared to Jack Curry, because he's had a bit of bad luck with injuries. And then WDON, I normally quite agree with their things. They normally try and pick someone who's not going to win the main vote. So yeah, good. Can't argue with either of them, because Jack Curry's had an incredible breakout year that we saw with obviously what happened at the end of the January window and probably what's about to come in the summer window. And it's great he's starting to get that recognition.
Just out of interest, did everyone here vote for Jack Curry as a Young Player of the Year? Or
yeah.
Stu's
I
thinking?
think I did.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to vote for Ali, but I thought he was going to win a main one.
You know what? It would have been interesting who would have won Young Player of the Year if both Billow and Curry both had full seasons and fit. It is gutting for Huss today, because he has picked up what looks like another hamstring injury. I'm concerned, George, that Huss does have an injury record, which of picking up these hamstrings. He had it in the youth academy. Do you think that's something moving forward is to be concerned about?
I think it's not something to be concerned about. It's something that needs to be managed. It means when he's coming back from one, you give him an extra 2 weeks. You don't rush him straight in and play him 2 games back to back. Because something like this with a hamstring is something that it takes time to recover from and to heal properly. And because of various things, Huss has never, in the first half of the year, he was thrown right in the deep end because Chris Gunter went to Wales for international duty. And then today, obviously he's gone again, so hopefully he'll be back for the start next year and it won't be something that holds him back.
We have got Ivor in the background doing a Man of the Match presentation with Ali Al-Hamadi, so we are going to try to battle that. We have got a 9 years goal of the season, so we've all picked our choices. So we're going to put that on the screen now. This is a video.
A win for Swindon in midweek as they won late on at home to Bradford, ending a run of 9 games without victory for just the 3rd win in Jody Morris's reign as manager. Can they end the season with a bit of momentum to take into next? For Wimbledon, well, they just want this season to be over. The worst record of any side in League 2 in 2023, with just 2 victories in 20 games and only 13 points picked up in that time. Struggled here at home in recent games, 5 defeats in their last 6. They have themselves a corner here. Can they make a positive start to proceedings? This is clipped in towards the back post, and they have got themselves the lead. And it's the first Wimbledon goal for Aaron Pierre. And just the start they wanted here today. 8 minutes played. Work the ball back to the edge of the area. The cross clipped in by Ethan Chislett, and they were queuing up at the back post. And there was Aaron Pierre to just guide it into the far corner. We all know, of course, Wimbledon, they've had such problems this season when getting in front. Can they get the job done? Any other side in the top 4 divisions? Can Swindon work a way back into this game quickly, perhaps? It might be a penalty here. And a penalty it is, awarded by Scott Simpson. It was a clumsy-looking challenge. Jeffcott in need of a goal, and he's got one. Tucked away into the corner as he strikes. Kane. He finds Khan. He worked by Swindon as the cross comes in towards the back post, and they've turned it around. 2 goals in 3 minutes. Set piece for Wimbledon. And they work it short. Jaisimi hoists it up towards the back post, and it's just touched away by Solbrin. Not the best of clearances either by McEachran. Cross swung in towards the back post, where it's met first time, just guided back across the front of the 6-yard box. Nobody there for Wimbledon, and now an opportunity for Swindon to break on the counter here. Oh dear, it's a dreadful mistake by Janev, and he might just pay the price. Indeed he does. Put away by Luke Jeffcott, his 2nd of the afternoon. And it is an absolute calamity by Nikola Janev. Weaving his way in field and working it out to the far side. Wimbledon committing plenty of players forward here. In comes the cross, free header. And they should have pulled a goal back there. Glorious opportunity. And in comes the free kick. The clearance away isn't great. Wimbledon can look to burst forwards with El Hamadi, who's bearing down on goal here. It's still El Hamadi, but good goalkeeping by Wakeling. He's got one already this afternoon. That one beaten out by Janev. It goes behind for a corner. Plenty of chances in. Just over the hour mark here as Hutton sends in the cross, and it's a towering header and a fantastic goal for Thomas Clayton, and some way for him to get his first. Cut out by Brown. Jaisimi is going to go alone, and he wasn't too far away. Enterprising play. Flick forwards, first time, and a chance here to grab a 5th. And still could be as well. Now, was that handball? Immediate appeals by the Swindon players, in the afternoon is going to get even worse for Wimbledon. A day which started so well when that man Aaron Pierre scored his first goal. So Darcy, who was denied by the handball, steps up to score. Wimbledon 1, Swindon 5. A day to remember.
Johnny, how do you explain the manner of the defeat today?
It's unacceptable. What we saw out there today isn't good enough from all of us. It's not good enough for Wimbledon Football Club, and it's a real eye opener for me. Some real harsh lessons learned about what we need to do, where we need to go with it, and how we need to improve. But completely unacceptable, that performance today.
What's the feeling in the dressing room, if you can sum it up in words?
Well, it's embarrassment, isn't it? To lose a game by that scoreline, to lose a game in that manner. It's tough to take. To concede the types of goals that we gave away today is criminal. Not going to give you any chance of picking up a result. We started the game really well, and then give away a soft penalty. Probably wasn't a penalty, but the other goals that we've given away are just you're handing goals on a plate to the opposition, and then it's just giving yourself too much to do. So really tough day for us all.
Do you understand the frustrations of the fans?
Of course, listen, the fans are fully entitled to vent their frustration. That's 2 seasons worth of frustration building up there. But obviously, this season's been difficult for a number of reasons, and what we gave them today.
Welcome back to 9yrsTV. I do apologise about that. We did have to take a break because Ali Al-Hamadi was getting his presentation from Ivor, and obviously Ivor having a leaving speech. Ali did sing us a nice little song of We Are the Dons, so that was quite impressive for those that were there and got to enjoy it. Stu, we were just looking at, before we took a break, we were looking at the goal of the season.
Yes.
We had some nominations, and I think we're going to try to pick a goal between us, which we all agree on. I don't know if Matt's going to budge, because Matt is not budging on Chislett's free kick against Newport. What would you and George go for? And then maybe I might have to cast in vote.
Let George go first.
Yeah, go on. Oh, pressure's on George. What are we going for out of these 5 goals? These are the ones we as a team picked, which we enjoyed. What are you going for?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for coming to me first there. I really appreciate that one, Stu.
Not a problem at all.
Yeah, I mean, for the men's goal of the year, I do think Josh versus Harrogate is a strong contender for men's goal of the season. I can see the appeal of Ethan Chislett, but for me, I do quite like having a team goal, which Josh had a bit more involvement for the men's goal of the year.
George, I do have to say, I'm not sure if it was a team goal because it was Route 1 football.
There was more than one player involved. It was a great pass.
It's not the more than one player involved goal of the season. It's the goal of the season. Just the scoring of a goal.
Yeah.
You could argue when Chiswick took the free kick against Newport, somebody won the free kick, so that was a team goal, no?
not really. Different passage of play.
We're talking about passages of play now. Stu, what's your thoughts?
Even Chiswick's go easy.
Chiswick's against
Just
Newport.
because it's not George's.
You know what's annoying though? You know what's annoying? I picked Josh Davison against Harrogate as my goal of the season, just because of the meaning of it. A 3-2 winner late on. I thought it was brilliant technique to bring it down and also take on his left foot. I am a bit worried by Matt staring at me. We have got a 2-2 draw on the panel. So I'm going to go over to Spike, who's got his hand up, producer. Spike, what are you winning as goal of the season? Are we going for Josh Davison? Spike has gone for Josh Davison, easy. Matt is shaking his head in disbelief.
What's our next lot then?
We have got another slide as well, I believe, unless we've had another blooper by Stu, which wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah, do you know what? Because we were rushing, I didn't put it up there.
We're just waiting for Spike to import it.
Sorry about that.
There's 4 more slides there.
It's been a bit hectic having the Player of the Year award straight after the game, isn't it? And
I'd like to apologise to Chiz for being robbed for the goal of the year award.
What have we got next? We've got Player of the Year award. Nominees.
So I think, Stu, you're going to go Ali Al-Hamadi because that's who you voted for. George, you're going to go for Jack Coey.
For men's player of the year, yeah.
Because that's who you voted for. So, Matt, where are you going? Which one are you leaning towards?
I voted for Ali Al-Hamadi.
Ali Al-Hamadi.
So I'll vote that way again.
What are you going with?
You're going to agree with George again, aren't you?
No, I can't be agreeing with George. So 3-1.
So these are basically not awards. These are what we don't want to agree with George on.
I'll tell you what I'll do next is I'll say the one I completely disagree with,
You know what?
and my favourite will win.
I agreed with George on the Josh Davison, but I can't be agreeing with him twice. That's too much. So Ali Al-Hamadi, I mean, he did win Player of the Year, and I think he is our Player of the Year. Since coming in for January, I think he's been very unlucky to be, so much on the losing side with the amount of goals and stuff he had. But one thing I'm looking forward to is having him here next season. Be interesting to see how he builds a strike partnership with Josh Davison, or if any new strikers come in the January window. That'll be interesting. On to our next nominations.
Are we agreeing now Hamadi the winner then, yeah?
Yeah, Al Hamadi winner. That's what we've gone for. And our next one, we've gone for 9 years away fan of the season. Obviously, I would like to thank all the fans who have come on this show this season and given up their free time. Very much appreciated. I don't know who voted for who on this one, so we're gonna go left to right. George, away fan of the season.
Yeah, I'm going Mansfield. I thought the Mansfield fan who came on was very knowledgeable. She talked really smartly about her team, came across really passionately. Yeah, so for me, Mansfield.
Was she the one from Fair Game, if I recall?
Her game too.
Her game too, yep, cool. I went for the Grimsby fan, I believe, because he made me laugh. He was a bit of a character. And he was the one who called Harry Pell, Harry Fell, which I thought was a brilliant nickname, and that's stuck in my head ever since. So I can't really argue with him. Can we? So Harry Fell, yeah. So Grimsby fan made me laugh. You know, got a bit of banter than Northerners. So yeah, that's who I went for. Matt.
Same as you. The Fell thing had me. So the Grimsby fan was very good.
I have a feeling here. We're going to go through. I have a feeling he might be a bit biased. There was a Sutton United fan who is his friend. Or
I thought it was rubbish.
No,
I thought it was rubbish from mate Andy.
So who you
no, do you know what? I was going to go for a Gingham fan just because he does a really good website and he stuff like that. But as they spent loads of money in the summer, sorry, the January window, I don't like him anymore. And I forgot about the Grimsby Town one, to be fair. So yeah, wow, we just got to so I just seen a message come through and it's just like very long.
Kane Fortunato, is that, am I pronouncing that correctly? Fortunato, sorry, I do apologise. So Kane, I'm just reading your message here. Al Hamadi joins us in January and wins Player of the Season. He's clearly a cut above the rest. JC obviously won Young Player of the Year.
We can't get, you can see it in the chat screen,
Yeah, I don't think we've got time to read all of that.
Can't read all of it, but...
So I think Grimsby Town, I think I agree with Harry Fell. I think,
Yep, so we're going Grimsby Town. Away fan of the season.
I think the overriding message from Kane is that basically he wants to see changes in the summer with, obviously Craig Cope's here now, and I think we're going to have a bit better picture in Tuesday night when obviously we've got Meet the Manager, we've got Craig Cope, Danny Macklin, so probably get a better insight there. Last but not least, we're going to go for 9 years guest of the season. Do appreciate all the players, guests, and former players who come on the show. This time we're going to start from right to left. I'm going to start off with you, Stu. I know who you're going to go for here.
This one's really easy for me.
Yeah,
really
do you know what?
Easy.
Do you know what? The last ones we had in terms of Alec Pearce and Josh and Harry Pell were really, really good, but unfortunately I'm a fan of the old school, and John Fashioney was just... and bearing in mind that we were going to do the interview live and we decided to record it, and then he swore within the first minute. I was actually quite relieved, but do you know what? I know who Matt's going to vote for. I turned into a 15-year-old kid again. With
we
John
both did, because I think we didn't we interview him?
Yeah,
so I think we both did.
We're literally just like looking at him like,
You two were like kids in a sweet shop. Yeah,
it's Fash. You can't not love Fash.
I only remember him from Gladiators. That's showing my age.
That's what there's worry when people do that.
No. I remember him from Gladiators.
So do we have two votes?
At this point, I will say I wasn't even old enough to see Gladiators.
It's a great movie, George. So is that two votes? Two votes for Fashioney from you two older gentlemen over there.
Hold on, older gentlemen. You're not getting away with that one.
We're older.
George, you're the young, so you going for on the panel?
Yeah,
obviously not John Fashioney because you don't remember him.
Yes, I'm going Harry Pell. Yeah. I think he was a really good guest. He came on, he spoke passionately about our club, said all the right things, quite clearly cares and wants us to improve and do things better. So yeah, Harry Pell for me.
I have to say I agree with both. I really liked Harry Pell. It's a hard one to choose because you've got the new school versus the old school.
We've had good guests as well.
I even thought Alex Pearce was came across really well as well. So I think John Fashion's going to win it. I did think he was a good laugh, and it was very good of him as well to give up his time because when he came down the plough lane, he was mobbed.
Yeah.
So
do you know what? The moment he arrived to the moment he left, he was mobbed by everybody.
Yeah.
Which is interesting when you think about it, because us older people, remember him.
I'm not being lumped into this, older people. not happy with this at all.
You know what, the funny thing is, we've not mentioned John Green, who flies over, comes straight in. Do you know what I mean? And Lee Brown, who's just hilarious. Like we had Lee Brown, didn't we, and Alex Woodyard together.
Yeah.
Like the two teams together, and do you know what I mean? So we've been lucky to have really good guests.
Moving on, some upcoming events. Obviously tomorrow we've got the women's game, followed by the SGM, followed by the what is it? The
End of season gala dinner.
End of season gala dinner, which is hosted by our good friend Aaron Paul. George and Stu, I believe you're both going to that. Both looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am actually. It's been interesting. I'm glad we didn't lose today.
I'm glad you're both going because I can ask in a WhatsApp group the gossip. What's going on? What's being said?
Nothing. Whatever happens in there stays in there.
Is that what it is? Matt, have you got a golden ticket to the gala dinner?
No. Golden ticket. What do you want, go?
What about the SGM, Matt? Are you going to the SGM tomorrow, or is?
No, I'm going to try and make the thing on Tuesday.
Yeah.
The fan forum. But no, I'm not going to the SGM.
No. Okay. And obviously, mentioning the fan forum, 9 Years will be covering it. We will be recording it and then putting it out live the following day, I believe. Stu, is that correct? Is that the aim?
We won't be putting it out live the following day, but we will be putting it out the following day.
Yeah, recorded. Yeah. So I know what I meant in my head.
You just love a picky person, don't you?
I know. There's always one, isn't there, Stu? There's always one.
Always George.
He only picked it up because he wasn't on his phone.
You know what? I'm glad having you here, Matt. I feel like I've got a bodyguard tomorrow night. I feel like I want to sit between you and Stu, though. 2 bodyguards protecting me from George. That's what I need to do next time. Moving on to Tuesday. Obviously, there's been big discussions over the course of the season about JJ, his position. I think it was very good of the PLC to put out a statement, backing up where we are. I feel like Tuesday's an important event for the club, to really get a message across. Obviously, we're building towards next season. We've got Craig Cope here. What are you expecting from the night, Stu? What's your opinions on it?
Expecting a long night. Because, to be fair, there's a bit of, not pressure as such, but, we're not going to edit it. It's going to be straight from the... unless we get anything really... We don't know what a night's going to be. Do you know what I mean? We hope it's going to be done in an adult way. Questions and stuff like that, but we're going to record it as if it's live with all the screen. We've got quite a few cameras here and stuff like that. Got quite a lot of team coming to help me. So I suppose, you know what, I'll probably go and watch it on the highlights, and then actually I'll probably won't take much attention here. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a really good opportunity, and hopefully it'll be well attended. And we get some idea. I don't know how long the evening's going to be.
I think it's going to be a very long evening.
Yeah, I think
especially is it 3 on the panel? Danny Macklin, Craig Cope and Johnny Jackson.
Mick Buckley as well.
Mick Buckley's there as well, so 4.
It's a busy panel.
But I think it's probably important because if you only had, say, JJ plus 1, you just get a lot of the same question over
You know what though, Matt? I feel like I disagree. I feel like what you could have done, in my opinion, is have a night with. I know it's it's hard logistically, but I had a night with Johnny Jackson and Craig Cope, and then split up Danny Macklin and Mick Buckley because I feel like personally, they're just 2 separate set of questions. So that's what I would have preferred maybe, but I also understand it's hard to keep
I don't think there's
going
going to be many questions for Danny Macklin, if I'm being honest with you. No. Danny's done quite a lot of stuff already. I think there's going to be more around. So I think it'd be a lot around Craig Cope, JJ, because that's what we want to see, don't we? The PLC statement's done that. It's given us a top level, and I think we just want to drill down a little bit with that. But it's a really good thing to have. I think I'm going to be up until the early hours of the morning editing it, but I think it's really, I agree to it because I think it's really important that the fans that are not able to make it can see it in its full glory. Yeah, and then it don't get accused of being a secret event behind closed doors, so it will be good that we record it. George, what's your views on the night? Are you looking forward to night and getting a bit more insight from Craig Cope onto the plans for next season?
I think it's something the club had to do. I think it's, first of all, I think a lot of credit has to go to JJ for agreeing to do it. It's not going to be easy or even pleasant for him. Let's be honest, what happens on Tuesday. And I think it's really important that everyone who comes, whatever your views on the situation we are in, that you communicate it in a sort of respectful way, because that's what we want from this. We want it to be an effective discussion, and if it comes across as abusive or rude, then the discussion won't happen. and it is so important we get this discussion happening and we're able to broadcast it afterwards and share it so that people can understand what's happening and why is it happening. But I think credit to the club for actually doing it this time. Fair play for doing it before the end of the season rather than waiting until everyone's gone on holiday and trying to hide it. But yeah, it's so important that it happens, and hopefully everyone can behave appropriately.
Yes, George.
And mean that it comes across well.
You're the main troublemaker, George.
Yeah.
You know what, George? I think you've covered Angelo's question very well as well about, obviously there was concern that it might be a bit of an ill-tempered affair. You know what I always find with these meet the manager and, meet the...
An ill-tempered JJ trial. Wow.
You know what, I do find though, when you do meet these people in person, obviously, JJ was at the... there was a dinner, wasn't there, this week as well. And, as much as, following on the back of 5-1 loss, there was no reports or anything I've heard of, any, ill malice. I always do think when people are face to face, they are respectful, and look, I think fair play for JJ for standing up and taking on questions. It can't be easy for him. It's been a difficult season, and I do obviously think that it's easier for people to air their frustration behind the keyboards, if I'm honest with you. So we do obviously hope that it stays respectful on that side of things.
They've got the opportunity now, and if they can make it, which would be great. Sorry, I always get distracted when I'm on this seat, so I watch the goals.
Can you give us a score update?
It's a Norwich goal, I think, yes. They look more surprised than... Is it Norwich?
You're watching it, Stu.
I thought we were watching the game.
Well, the TV's not big enough from here.
That's a very canary yellow. So it's definitely Norwich.
John, for me, I thought it was West Brom, but that's who they're playing. West Brom do have a yellow away kit. Am I not? Thank you, George. I wasn't being stupid.
You're not wrong.
I was being stupid. Do you know... That'd be silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? Like I say, yes, we do have people that like to go on social media, but this is your chance to get a question, get a response, do it in an adult environment, do you know what I mean? And I would just encourage those who can get down there, get down there.
Yeah.
And if you can't because you've got something planned and stuff, then fair enough, you've got the backup of it. But let's just be nice to get a few people down here, and constructive. It's not going to be nicey. It's not been a nicey season, is it? Do you know what I mean? But it'd be nice to come out there with some constructive, and you come away going, do you know what? They got a plan, and we've asked what we can.
Yeah. I would say the club have just put something out saying that Harry Powell has missed today's game after picking up another injury. So we wish Harry all the best recovering from that.
He can go on the beach and just relax, and then come back in pre-season.
And hopefully he is back for pre-season.
That was one of the disappointments on the day. Is
put a downer on it.
Hopefully he's back before. Hopefully he's back sometime.
I think that's just the main thing, is that like we can all agree on the panel. Sometimes there's a lot of questions coming or people's thoughts. I think we can all agree it has been a disappointing season. There's no getting away from that. No. I think we all need a break. And we're picking up the injuries today. With Ali looked like he picked up not violence. Obviously, looks like a hamstring injury. Harry Powell. I think we all just need to get away and recharge for next season. Stu, what's your thoughts going into next season? Obviously, Craig Cope will give us a bit more insight. We did start off with a reported playoff budget, and it turns out that it's 17th. Can next season only be better with Craig Cope here? Is there pressure?
There's a lot to do. I'm looking forward to getting a break. Although I will be here. Anyone who's bored after 2 or 3 weeks and wants to do a Play Alone Stadium tour, I will be doing them. Along with Ray and the rest of the team, Eric and that. Yeah, come down and enjoy Plough Lane. You won't come here and lose a game. You'll come here and be lose free. Do you know what I mean? But no, I'm going to be doing quite a bit during the summer. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what
who comes in the door.
We know players are going to be leaving, don't we?
Yeah.
And that's always sad. Do you know what I was doing? Even though we've not had a great season, there's a few players you think might not be here next season, and you just want to give them a round of applause because actually they're not bad individuals. It's just.
Some of them it just hasn't worked out, has it? And it can't have been easy for some of the players because they come in under Mark Robinson. Obviously we've had 2 change of managers since. We now find ourselves in League 2.
But it just needs a freshen up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It needs a freshen up. Just like we're going to get rid of George next season. Do you know what I mean? We're just going to freshen.
Definitely needs a freshen up.
Definitely sacked.
No,
absolutely, definitely
just
sacked.
Need to freshen things up, and that's what
it's new, isn't it? It's different. We're now changing with Craig now in. We're now changing our football philosophy.
Yeah.
So this is the first proper window. We had January, but he'd not been there long.
No.
So this is now the opportunity, and now we will see a lot more during pre-season and, of course, when the season starts, exactly how we're going to go forward with this philosophy we've adopted.
It's exciting.
I think it'll be interesting from Craig Cope to find out what our philosophy is next season, and what we're going to recruit for. I'm hoping to hear from Craig Cope if he
Well, I
wants.
noticed Craig was out on the pitch doing his lap of honour.
Yeah, he was out there.
Yeah. I was like, you've done nothing yet, Craig. I say that being nice. I get on well with Craig, but like, he's enjoying going out for a lap of honour.
You know what, Stu? I feel like the whole place needs a lift, and I know what player you'd like to see through the door. One of your favourite players come through. I think a lot of fans.
I think John Fashion is a bit old now.
He can still do it. He can still do it.
To be fair, the handshake he gave us, I'm sure he still have a battle out there. I tell you.
It's not John Fashion.
Yeah,
It's
I
someone
know,
with a bit of
I'm
a wild haircut.
Do you know
shall we
what?
say?
Do you know what? There was one player I'd love to come back, but hey, look, who knows? Who knows?
Matt, what do you want to see for next season?
A team of 6'4", almost rugby players, just to
You can see
destroy League Two.
London Broncos, if you want to see.
No,
that.
I don't want to see that. No, I want a giant. I want a team of giants. I want to go back to the glory days. I want the crazy gang back.
So Matt wants to land with the Giants. And George, finishing up on you, we'll round up here. What radical or silly thing you're going to end us on a note with? You want to see a team of youngsters playing tick-a-tacker football like prime Man City?
Yeah, we're closer to that than what we've got now. I would like us to sign some young, hungry players in the transfer window. I think, obviously last year we went too young. This year we've gone too far the other way. So it's about trying to find that middle ground, getting in some younger talents, getting rid of some of the older players now who are past their prime, getting in some young blood, hungry players so we can have high energy, high tempo, high aggression football. Because I think that's what fans want to see. So hopefully we'll be able to bring in some of that.
I just want to look at Matt, see me shaking his head.
And do you know we've got Forest Green in next year, so they're going to be hungry as well. So.
Spike didn't like that one. Spike didn't like that one.
We're almost going to wrap up. There is one thing I do want to mention. I do want to give a big shout out to Ivor Heller. He's been massive for the club. Even though he's only 5'2", the legacy he leaves behind is absolute massive. You could argue if it wasn't for him here and all the work he's done behind the scenes and given up so much of his life, we wouldn't be sitting here in Plough Lane right now. So big shout out to Ivor Heller. I think he
ain't going anywhere though. You're still
you're still
hearing.
I feel like today is like National Ivor Day. If there was like a bank holiday,
yep,
it would be today, National Ivor Day. If I run for Prime Minister, that's in my manifesto.
You as Prime Minister?
Yeah, vote for me.
Oh dear, let's get away from politics.
No, if he's Prime Minister, if he's Prime Minister, I want to get away from the country.
There's a quick last message from Angelo. Thanks for covering all the matches Plough Lane again this season, lads. You've been at ecstasy when we've won, therapy when we've lost, mostly, and have a great summer. You too, Angelo.
That's lovely.
And I just want to give a shout out to Spike behind the cameras as well. Always production, always work he's done for us. You don't see him, but without him,
pathetic jokes.
I want to give a shout out to Stu as well. He does all work graphics and stats. I might have to call him Stato Stu for next season.
Fifth versus fifth is a little bit of a downer.
He gets half of them wrong.
You've ended on a high, mate. You've really ended on a high today.
I also. Wait on there, Spike's got a brilliant. There we go. Spike's got a brilliant. Ending it on a formation with no right back.
I was right, but I didn't finish the game. So he wasn't there at the end of the game.
I'm still convinced Stu was trying to put himself in at right back.
Yeah.
Stu was going to put himself in at right back as an Easter egg, so we'd all see it.
I want to just also give a shout out to Tom, Nick, all our guests, Matt, yourself as well. And I'm going to leave the final words to the one and only George Jones. What are you signing off with, George?
Yeah, I think this year hasn't been. That bus came awfully quickly right at me. Yeah, no, this year hasn't been what we were all hoping for.